What's going on, buddy? I'm Mr. Hyena,
I am Domzy.
and welcome back to the Think Tank. Welcome to episode 4.
I don't
I
remember.
I just had a
Four, I
look.
think.
Yeah, I just looked. Yeah, we're on 4. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be doing our last podcast episode on, well, football in general, because the seasons are starting to wind down. The NFL is coming up to the playoffs, but quite frankly, who watches the NFL anymore?
Exactly.
But yeah, so in this video, we are going to be going over pretty much the what's been going on so far in college football, and then a little bit into the pros with some of the big stuff that's been tossed around this past week. You ready, Dom?
Yep.
Alrighty, so first things first, let's start off with the big congratulations and that I was right. Michigan winning the national championship over Washington. Quite frankly, Washington did not show up to play that game. That's what I got from the game. That Washington just didn't show up to play at all.
It's kind of like what Alabama, that was probably Alabama's worst game of the year. It was one of the most important games. It was the same thing with Washington.
Yeah, Washington they crumbled the first quarter, second and third quarter. They looked fine, but they couldn't get anything going offensively. And then Michigan finally found a way to get past them and immediately ran up the scoreboard within the last 10 minutes of the game.
Well, Washington couldn't stop Michigan from running,
Yeah.
so that's never good.
for
And
uh
then,
for how much of their
I
defense was
mean,
so talked about going into this game. A little bit
yeah.
of a shocker that they did not do that well, but
What can you do when the other team is stealing your offensive signs and they know what play you're running?
uh you're funny. But speaking of Michigan, Jim Harbaugh, there is a rumor spreading around ESPN and all those other sports networks that he is thinking about going to the NFL next season. Do you think this is true, Dominic? I want to ask you.
Uh, I think he'll go to the NFL. I think he'll go to the NFL, and I don't think he'll really do anything.
Mm, yeah.
He'll go to the NFL, and then he won't get very far, in playoffs and stuff. I don't think he will.
Right. Yeah. So
Then he'll go back to Michigan.
he'll go back to Michigan. Um. Yeah. So his brother coaches for the Ravens and has been for a while. Um. I'm
Mm-hmm.
surprised he has not been fired yet, even though his teams are back in the playoffs
Does he have
for
a good
once.
season?
Yeah, they had a really good season this year. They're currently the number one
Well,
seed
what's
in the
dumb
AFC.
is
So
watch them next year if the Ravens have not a terrible season, but if they don't have a good a season as they did this year, they'll fire him.
oh yeah,
That's how everyone is.
exactly. So yeah, so with the rumor of Harbaugh going to the NFL, I personally think he will, but I think he's gonna pull. I'm my thought is that he's gonna pull a Pete Carroll. He's gonna be really good right out the gate. He's gonna be really good, but then he's gonna fall to mediocrity, where it's like you have winning
Yeah.
seasons, but you don't get to the playoffs, or you get to the playoffs
Yeah.
in the wild card then lose, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like he'll do that. But speaking of the national championship with Washington, Kalen DeBoer, Washington's head coach, is going to Bama. Which
I heard there were rumors about it, but I didn't think that was actually gonna happen. Did it actually happen?
yes. I just checked
Oh.
before I hopped on and it was official. Now it was one source that said it, so I'm hoping that more sources come out and say it. It would be good to know. Um and then speaking of Bama, oh my gosh, everything just keeps connecting. Nick Saban retiring, the end of an era at Alabama and college football in general. One of the best
Thank God.
head coaches of all time finally steps down. which I felt like he was gonna try one more season to get to a natty and then retire. You know,
Yeah.
that's what I've seen most coaches tend to do. Now sure, sometimes they don't. There's a lot of examples of that, but and Saban's one of them now. But yeah, so 7 national championships. I think 10 conference championships. Over almost 20 years in college football, probably 17 or 16 years, I think. Um, yeah, one of the greatest coaches finally steps down as the head coach, which I was shocked. Ladies and gentlemen, I called Dominic within 5 minutes of me finding out the news and fact checking it. I called Dominic
But
so as fast as possible.
but what's sad about that is that I already knew. Like I found out like the day before he called me.
Damn. I like how you went along with it too. You're like, oh yeah, that's so sad.
I thought I told you already. I guess I don't think I did. But I thought I did.
No, I found out myself. No one tells me anything. I have to find everything out for myself. I'm usually really good about finding stuff out on time, but sometimes I'm very late. Which I know we're very late with making this, with the national championship being over last Monday, and then obviously Saban retiring. What, 2 days ago now? 3 days ago now?
I think 2 days. Yeah.
So yeah, we've not been able to sit down and talk about this. So yeah. But before we move on, I want to give my opinion on Kalen DeBoer going to Bama. I think this is a stupid move on his part. Only being at Washington for 2 years, almost winning the title, to then betray that team and go to an already dominant program. I just think I don't think it's smart. Because all I feel like he's doing is creating a lot of resentment from the rest of the country at this point. You know?
Odell Beckham Jr. because he was on a bunch of terrible teams. No, I don't think he won a Super Bowl with Eli Manning, but he, like Odell Beckham Jr. What was he? He went to the Rams, won a Super Bowl, and then now he's at the Ravens, who are the number one team in the AFC. Seems like he only goes to the teams that are good. I feel like that's what
Yeah.
a lot of people do in college, like Caleb Williams. Like he was at Oklahoma, which was a good team. Then he left with Lincoln Riley along with other players, and then went to USC.
Yeah, no, they're
There's all these
finally having a
players
down
that think,
year.
oh, if I can do this here, I can do this at this team.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that USC has always been decent at football, so they've always constantly been a thorn in the playoff side, where they always are like, "I'm here." I feel like that's another.
I'm here, but I lose one game and now I'm not in.
Yeah, like they always somehow manage to find themselves losing later in the season, which is what they did this year. They started off really strong and then they just fell off super hard and they face planted on the concrete.
Yeah, they're like 6-0.
Yeah, and then I think didn't they end in like 7-5? I swear to God.
8-5.
I swear to God, they only won like 1 or 2 games after that. um, but yeah, so I don't know. I just think for Kalen DeBoer to move to Alabama, I feel like that was the case with Caleb Williams and Odell Beckham. It's like I'm already gonna go to a good program to make nothing, or to make already something into something. Like you can't do that. So it's like playing Madden or NCAA 14 on recruit mode or whatever the easiest difficulty is, and turning all the players, opposing CPU players, to 0. Like that's pretty much what he's doing. Like he's not trying to find challenges. He's not trying to keep going with his current team to a national championship, which I'm gonna throw this out there. I don't think Washington's gonna be anywhere close to the college football playoffs next year. That's my hot take because I don't think they will. They do have a lot of seniors coming back, but I just don't think they will.
It kind of seems like a team that either has never made a playoff or like a team that's never made a playoff, they make it, and then after that they're nowhere near as good. It's
Right.
just like that fluke thing, like TCU. It's like the only time they've ever done anything, and then the year after. Granted, they lost a lot of their good players,
Hmm.
but I don't think TCU will ever get to that level again.
Oh no. And if they do, like the closest they're gonna get is probably like 20s, maybe upper teens, but they're not
Yeah.
gonna get anywhere near that again. I don't feel like they will.
Like, do you
But
think
yeah.
Louisville will be as good as they were this year, next year?
Um, I think they'll be either right about the same, maybe a little worse. By little worse, I mean like ranking wise. I don't mean like performance wise. I feel like because we had a good recruitment class and a good transfer portal year. We have a couple seniors returning. We got a new quarterback. We got some
You don't,
new running
you don't want
backs. So
Plummer?
no, Plummer needs to
Don't want Plummer.
Plummer needs to be flushed out of Louisville, which he did. So
Or do you know if he's going somewhere else?
no, I think he's not transferring. I know for a fact, but he's either just graduating and not going to the NFL or going to the NFL, and he just hasn't made a statement about it yet. Which he's kind of running out of time. So the school year's coming to a
The
close
NFL's
here.
probably gonna look at him like, hey, what's with this 10-win season with you didn't win anything, no bowl game, conference championship, nothing. What's this about? And he goes, oh, uh, you know,
Just
stuff happens.
yeah, stuff happens. No, but that game was literally that. Stuff happens. Like you were playing against a dying USC team that was, quite frankly, they looked very like they were struggling at the beginning of the game. Quite frankly, they did.
USC's defense isn't any good, and even with
Yeah.
all the backups, then that would have been worse.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think that's why Louisville got off to a hot start in that bowl game was because of USC's terrible
Yeah.
defense. So, yeah. But I feel like with how the conference next year is going to look, with adding Stanford, SMU, and Cal, and everything like that in the ACC, and FSU is leaving the conference, more than likely. I've still have not heard a word about that in a while. But
I don't see why they would.
like I said in the last episode, I think it's because they did it for TV rights or something stupid like that. Like it is the dumbest
Yeah.
excuse you've ever heard. It's like, bro, like come on. Like I know that's why everyone's leaving the Pac-12 and everything. By the way, RIP
Yeah, because
Pac-12,
like
but
all their games are like start at 10:30, and everyone's like sleeping,
yeah,
which
no
and
one
me being
watches
on
on the
the
Pac-12
East
network
Coast,
anyways. So,
I like it when college games are on late at night. But yeah.
oh yeah, for sure. So I feel like I feel like next year Louisville won't progress, but I won't feel like they will regress. I feel like they'll be about the same. The way too early AP poll came out last week, and it put Louisville at 19 in the country. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of hopes for Louisville going into the season already. um, I think, um, I think Coach Brom is a really good coach. So I feel like I said, I don't feel like we're gonna go anywhere. We're not gonna go like Washington. We're not gonna make a deep run, but I don't feel like we're gonna be USC and totally just regress, like to the point where we
Yeah.
almost have a losing season. I'm saying almost. So if you're a USC fan, please don't be pissed off. I said almost, even though that'd been first in decades. Like I can't even remember the
Yeah.
last time they ever had a losing season.
I have no idea.
Okay. Yeah. So Kalen DeBoer to Alabama, no. I think it's a stupid idea. But then speaking of Alabama with their rivals Auburn, just earlier before hopping on this podcast and recording this, I found out that Auburn students went to Alabama's campus and vandalized their campus. after they heard Saban retired, announced his retirement. So, um, I don't know how to take that. Like, I know for Auburn, that's probably the biggest win they'll ever have. But you can't make that up. That's a little too far, in my opinion.
Yeah,
It's a little too far.
I think Nick Saban knew that the SEC isn't gonna get all the attention because the Big Ten's gonna be stacked.
Yeah, the Big Ten's adding so many new teams. A
Because
lot of the Pac-12 big teams.
nobody shuts up about the SEC.
Oh yeah, and
And then now yeah.
I've seen many videos where people are like, the playoffs just can't do anything without the SEC. That's why Bama was in there. So they had to.
I don't think Bama. If you look on paper, Bama really shouldn't have gone in the playoffs because one, they'd cover behind to beat Auburn, who's not very good,
Right.
and they shouldn't have jumped 7 spots,
Yeah, that was a little
especially
aggressive.
when everyone above them did lose.
Right. I found that a little crazy. I was like, how in the hell do you jump that far? So, yeah. I don't know how to react to that Auburn students situation. That was I almost didn't believe it, but then I thought about it and I was like, it's Auburn. It makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Bunch of miserable people.
Right. Um So now we're going to move on to the pros because there's been a lot of movement going on in the pros. Let's start with probably the biggest news. Bill Belichick of the New England Patriots announced he was leaving New England as of Wednesday. What's your take on this? I'll let you speak first.
Bill Belichick.
Right. Yes.
I think it's about time you retired. Because I think he realized that getting somebody like Tom Brady's never going to happen again.
Mm-hmm. But here's the thing, though. He didn't announce his retirement. He announced he was parting ways with New England. That was his words. So, for all we know, he could still coach at another team.
Yeah, that's true. Where'd he go? I don't even.
So far, so far it seems like a lot of people are rumoring that he's gonna want to go to Chargers, which I'm laughing at, but I don't know.
I thought he'd go back to the Giants or something.
I mean, I could see a lot of those lower teams probably wanting to bring him on. So, honestly, and then my opinion on this, as a Patriots fan myself, I was shocked, but I saw it coming since 2021 when we started going downhill pretty quickly. I could tell that his time was coming to an end eventually. Now, would I rather him retire? Yes. I would much rather him retire than him be like, oh, I'm just parting ways. But
yeah. He doesn't want to say he's retiring.
Yeah, because that would because I feel like that would be the same situation as Nick Saban. The dynasty is over. Yes, him leaving means the dynasty is over, but he's not leaving his legacy of being a coach completely behind. He's still bringing his coaching mindset on to find more jobs, is what he's trying to do. So that's why I feel like it's not that big of a deal right now unless he announces retirement, like the Nick Saban situation. But I still feel like it's big enough to cause some shockwaves through the NFL because he won 6 Super Bowls, appearing in 10. I don't even remember how many AFC championships he's won. It's in the double digits, I'm pretty sure. Or 9? Yeah.
No, it's 9.
All right, 9. That's kind of funny.
What's funny is that I'm a Broncos fan. What's funny is that the Broncos have one less conference championship win than the Patriots,
and the Patriots and the Broncos have the same amount of Super Bowl losses.
That's kind of funny. I've never looked that up actually. That statistic. It's kind of funny. It's ironic, but that's because the Broncos have had a pretty rich history when it comes to football, especially during the Peyton Manning and John Elway era, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. My family's Broncos
People, like-
fans, so I know the lore.
Yeah. See, you're just in the corner with all your Patriot stuff.
No, so actually, funny story. At Christmas, remember when the Patriots played the Broncos this year? Over Christmas time?
Oh yeah.
And the Patriots
Yeah.
ended up winning? The beginning of the game was all Broncos. My whole family on the Keller
Mhm.
side of the family are Broncos fans. They were rubbing it in my face. They're like, haha, you suck. You know what I did at the end of the game? When they
What did you do?
when they nailed the game-winning field goal, I walked in front of the TV and said, "Who sucks?" And they're
even though Patriots have a worse record.
yes.
But yeah.
Like, come on, you're gonna get in my face, so I'm gonna get in your face back because we won. And then they're like, they brought that up. They're like, what's your guys' record again? And I was like, but who did you lose to? Like-
After like what was it? Something happened in the third quarter, and I was like, "Oh, Broncos are gonna lose," because they couldn't do anything anymore on offense.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably some
I
halftime
don't
adjustments.
think I don't think Russell Wilson's the problem. I just think it's the offensive line.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I don't look into the Broncos that much to know about what could be the problem. All I hear is what the media says, and usually that's Russell Wilson sucks. But I don't know.
That's not the case though. It's the offensive line is bad. Because
Mm,
every time he gets the ball and he back goes to pass, he's running out of the pocket because some of his two defensive linemen after him.
interesting.
It's just dumb.
Yeah, so I take it with a grain of salt. I'm like, maybe it's not all Russell Wilson. So, I don't know. I just take it with a grain of salt, you know? And then,
Okay, but back to big. I would call him big. Bill Belichick. If he's the genius of the coach that everyone said he was with Tom Brady, then he should be able to turn any team good.
yeah, but I don't know. I don't know how to feel about, because quite frankly, I don't think it's his fault why the past 3 years have been so bad. I think it's the players that he had at his disposal were not what he was used to. Now, I know you could say that Brady sucked when he first started playing, but that's the thing, is that Brady only took a year to turn around. Mac Jones played 3 years and then was cut because he couldn't turn it around. So,
Brady had a lot of good players around him too.
that as well. I feel like Bill Belichick was just more used to having really skilled and elite players at his disposal. So that's why he wants to go find another team that has that, so then he can keep winning or keep his winning mentality going, I guess. Because it is kind of demoralizing when you constantly lose every year. It's very demoralizing for anybody. I'm not just saying coaches, I'm saying anybody. Players, teams, coaches, fans. And then his replacement, Gerard Mayo, was just announced today at about, I'm going to say lunchtime, I can't remember. Gerard Mayo used to play for New England. I think he was a defensive lineman. Might have been a linebacker. I can't really remember.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I know he's
but-
a lineman of some kind.
Yeah, he was from a long time ago. He was from like the early 2000s Patriots when they first started to become really good. So, will he turn things around? I think the Patriots need a really good draft class this year to bring in for them to fully turn things around and get them on the right path. But it's not going to be easy because this is also his first head coaching job. So,
Yeah.
definitely going to be a little shaky. So, I will take it with a grain of salt next year. In a weird way, I was expecting the Patriots to kind of fall off after their final Super Bowl against the Rams. That's actually kind of funny. I just realized their first Super Bowl win was against the Rams. Their last one that they've had
Last.
is the
It's the
Rams.
Rams.
Oh, that's funny. Didn't even realize that. But yeah. So all we can do is hope. Same for the Broncos.
Yeah, they played the Rams twice. They played the Eagles twice. They played the Giants twice.
Oh yeah, true. I forgot about that actually. Rinse and repeat. Anyways, next we're gonna jump to another famous coach that was just ousted, but this time fired, not removed or retired, fired. But he still evolved in their program. That is good old Pete Carroll, Seattle Seahawks head coach of many years. I'm pretty sure it was over a decade. Also coached at USC, took him to 2 national championships, or 3. I think it was 2. Yeah, then he went to the NFL. Now he's fired after having a winning season. But the reason why he was fired is because they're tired of seeing the same record every single year. And so they're like, let's try to find someone quote unquote better. Do I feel like
I thought
this?
you were retired. I didn't know he got fired.
Yeah, it was a whole like, it's a weird, goofy situation because he's fired, but he's still involved in the whatever you call it, like the Seattle what do you call it, like board or whatever. I don't know, committee. I don't even know what you call that. So he's still allowed to be there, like, but he just can't lead the team, I guess. Do I think this was a smart move by Seattle? No. I think this was a kind of stupid move. Quite frankly, I feel like Pete Carroll had the same situation where, as Bill Belichick, he's not used to these young players that aren't really used to playing in these situations, like playing on an NFL roster. And even if he does have good players, they don't have good other players around them to help boost them up. You know?
Yeah.
Like Tom Brady, he had Julia Edelman and Rob Gronkowski. Oh my gosh.
He had,
Like he had weapons.
He had Rex Burkhead.
He had
Rex Burkhead at running back, who was pretty good. He had what's his name? He had another receiver who was good. I can't remember his name.
Randy Moss was a really old one. He had Randy Moss for a while.
Yeah, he was there. What's that? There's another running back.
I can't remember.
It was a black guy. It wasn't Rex Burkhead's white, but it was what was his name? Oh, I need to look it up.
Okay. So yeah, I just think Seattle does not have weapons around every corner, so they struggle this year. But I feel like firing your legacy head coach early was not a good move on Seattle's part, in my opinion. But I'll let you find that.
Pete Carroll. He was coaching when the Seahawks played the Steelers in the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah. Seattle won 1 Super Bowl under Pete Carroll. Went to, I think, 2 or 3.
He went to 3.
Yeah, and then lost 2. Lost against the Patriots in the old you should have ran the ball Super Bowl. And then the Steelers, which I did not watch that one at all. So
I was maybe like 5 when that Super Bowl was played. I remember the Patriots and Seahawks Super Bowl because I think it was Super Bowl 49. I wanted the Patriots to win because the Seahawks beat the Broncos.
Oh yeah, you always go against the team that beats you. I
also just never really liked the Seahawks.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree with you. I just kind of never really liked them, honestly. For example, though, this year I'm rooting for the Ravens in their playoff run because of Lamar Jackson. Shout out Louisville. He was actually the main reason why I got into Louisville football. I watched him before he played there, but I wasn't a big fan, really.
That's who he had. Brady also had Amendola.
Oh yeah, Amendola, right?
He was good, and I forget his first name, but his last name's Blunt. I
LeGarrette
think he
Blunt.
was another running back. Yeah, him. He played. Yeah, so yeah, Brady had a lot of good players around him.
Yeah.
That's who the guy was. But what were you saying about Jackson Louisville?
I was just saying that like he was the reason why I started liking them. And then because I watched them during their Bridgewater era, which was before Lamar. Which, by the way, did you know that Teddy Bridgewater played for Louisville? Went to college there?
No idea. No, I had no idea.
No, yeah. I didn't know.
Bridgewater's
I
always been a
didn't.
backup his whole life.
Yeah,
So I didn't know.
he's not really a leading quarterback in the pros, but yeah. The funny thing is I watched Bridgewater play at Louisville, but then I didn't realize it was Bridgewater in the NFL until like 5 years ago. So I was like, wait, that's the same guy. That was actually kind of funny, but when I made that realization, so I was like, oh, I like did a forehead slap. I was like, I'm so stupid. It's like once he left, I immediately moved on to Lamar. I was like, this guy's way better. Even though Bridgewater took him to a huge bowl game, their biggest bowl game ever in the Orange Bowl.
They were Louisville when it was Lamar Jackson's like his second to last year or his senior year or something. Well, how long did he play? He only played like 2 years, didn't he?
Yeah, because Bridgewater played for his freshman sophomore year.
When Jackson, I think he was his senior. They were ranked like number 3 in the country, and then like lost a few games in a row or something.
Yeah, they lost their last like 3 in a row. One of them was to Kentucky. I remember. Kentucky was really good that year though, so I won't put it past them. One of them was it was an upset one, I believe. Like it was a team that they thought they would have beaten. I can't remember right now.
Yeah.
Let me look up. I'm looking it up right now. Hello, where am I at? So in 2016, this is when Lamar played. They finished 21st. And so their last game, which was the Cheez-Its Citrus Bowl, this was the last game Lamar played in. No, sorry, his junior year. They lost to LSU. Yeah. But the game before that, they lost to Houston. Week before that, beat Boston College. Week before that, lost to Kentucky, which was an upset win. And then, yeah, because they were second in the ACC. So they were behind Florida State. Would you look at that?
Yeah.
That's kind of funny. And then let me look up 2017, because that was his senior year. Third in the ACC. Okay, so they fell off a little. Lost in the Gator Bowl against Mississippi State. Beat Kentucky. Jeez, they blew out Kentucky. This was the year How did we finish third then? So we finished third, but we're second. Behind Florida State. Even though we beat Florida State that year. What is this on? Okay, anyways. Yeah, I can't remember what year that was then. That was probably 2015 then.
What's hilarious is that when Miami and Florida State joined the ACC, this was back when they were both really good. Everyone thought the ACC championship was always gonna be Florida State and Miami, and I don't think it's happened yet. It's never happened. Yeah, everyone thought that it was gonna be Florida State and Miami, and it hasn't happened.
Oh yeah. Let me see. 2015, they ended 8-5. They finished behind Florida State and Clemson, who were really good. Clemson was 8-0 in conference and 14-1. They were number 2 at the time. Back when Clemson was good. But yeah, I don't know what year was that then. I remember them losing 3 straight in the last 3 games of the year, and then they
It was
fell
like
off.
2015, 2016 or something.
That's
I think
weird.
it was like 2015. remember them being like number 3, and then they like lost to a team. It was Utah. I think it was Utah. They lost to Utah, who wasn't ranked. Had nowhere near a good record as Louisville did, and Utah just beat the crap out of them. I don't remember. Damn, who team? What? I think it was Utah.
Yeah, you're right. Number 3. 20.
Yeah.
Louisville number 3 during the 2016 season. They started 9-1, which is
Damn.
why they were doing so
Really
good.
lost to Clemson.
Yeah. While Louisville rose in the rankings, it fell to number 21 following the Virginia loss. Oh wait, no, sorry, I read that wrong. They almost lost to Virginia, but came back and won. Why is Virginia always giving us trouble?
Virginia should have beat Louisville this year, but they blew that.
Yeah, like 2016 apparently.
Yeah, you were at that game, weren't you?
Yeah, I was there. We still won, but it's okay.
Remember that? What was it? Was it Louisville? They ran the ball and then like fumbled it or something, and it bounced right to a Virginia guy, and he ran it back for a touchdown.
I think
It was.
you're talking about an interception. I know what you're talking about because
That's right.
we never fumbled the ball. Virginia did, but we didn't. We threw an interception. Plummer threw it right. He did a boot out, like where the quarterback fakes a handoff and rolls out, and he threw it right at the Virginia guy. Like I'm being dead as like eyes were locked to him, and he's like, "Here you go." Like, how do you not see him right there, standing in front of you? I don't know. That was just one of Plummer's weird moments, I guess.
Did like it that Louisville beat Notre Dame. That was awesome.
Oh yeah, I was on a bus ride back from Sioux City after a marching competition watching it. My phone was at like 5%, so I like turn it off every every minute or so, and then check back every 5 minutes. I was like, please.
You were screaming.
Yes, I was like, please, please win. And then when I finally saw them storm the field, I literally screamed at the top of my lungs. Everyone else is sleeping on the bus, and there's just me in the back screaming and punching. My friend Isaiah sitting next. Yeah, no. So you could ask Isaiah this when we sit down to record later. He was sitting next to me on the bus, and I literally start screaming. I start punching him. I just start throwing fists. I'm like, let's go. And he was legit like, bro, what's going on? What's going on? He's like trying to sleep.
You're like, Louisville won.
And he was like, cool, like slumps back out again.
Yeah.
It was funny. And then that was the same week that Miami did the weird fumble on with like 2 seconds left, and Virginia Tech took it back and won. Yeah. That was the same day too. Which, by the way, Miami, I hope you're never good again.
Me neither.
Coming from both a Louisville and a Husker fan. More so as a Husker fan.
Yeah.
But more Louisville because of conference play. Husker fan because of pride.
Yeah.
We own you. No, I'm kidding. Let me look this up, actually. Nebraska.
Oh, I'm watching the Louisville Virginia game. The interception you're talking about. There was none of his players were anywhere near him.
Yeah, I think Bro. I think Bro literally turned colorblind. Bro turned colorblind. Bro turned colorblind for like 3 seconds.
He went right to him.
It's really funny. And then the beginning of the game, I'm literally there on TV. Yeah, that was a good game because I was also there, and I got on TV. I literally looked up and I was so surprised that there was a camera in my face. So apparently,
this is the fumble I was talking about. The Virginia guys caught a screen pass, was running. Louisville guys hit him. the Virginia guy fumbled the ball, but one of his players was right next to him, and he picked it up and ran it in for a touchdown.
Yeah, but then there was a giant injury, and everyone around us kept saying they're going to
Yeah.
cancel the game because of how bad it is. But it wasn't that bad. Found out later, it was just a torn ACL. Like, bro.
Oh. Some people like walk off the field from with the torn ACL.
I know, and he was on a stretcher.
It's weird.
On a cart. It was like, okay. Also, I just looked up with the Nebraska-Miami rivalry. It's tied 6-6, and the last time they've played was 2015. I
Yeah.
do not remember that game.
That was a bowl game, I think.
Oh, that's probably why. Because, yeah, it says 36-33 in overtime. So we were leading it, which is kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, right here, September 20th, 2014. That was the last time we were ranked, actually. We beat them 41-31, and then the next time we saw them a year later, literally a year later, almost on the dot, it was a day behind, played in Miami at a bowl game, I'm pretty sure, and then lost in overtime. That's all right. We'll come back for you guys.
Yeah.
We'll come back for you guys. Sooner or later. I'm going to look up football. I'm going to look up Nebraska's schedule, and then I'm going to look at Miami's and see what's going on. Spring game, UTEP at Lincoln, Colorado at Lincoln, Northern Iowa at Lincoln, Illinois at Lincoln. Oh my gosh, 4 home games. Purdue at Purdue. Rutgers at Lincoln, Indiana.
Yeah, Nebraska's first 5 games are home.
Oh yeah, right here.
It's weird.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's four games. We play at Indiana, then we play at Ohio State. Which, good luck to our.
What was
Good
that?
luck to the boys.
I'm not even gonna turn that off.
Hey, you can never know. Hey, actually, it depends how the start of the season goes. I know the first game's UTEP, but then Colorado. If we win out against the first 2, 4, 5 games,
Sure.
I'll have some good confidence. Yeah. I'll have some confidence. But not much. Obviously, going into Ohio State, I definitely will not have confidence. But then we have UCLA at Nebraska, which UCLA is a little doo-doo, so I don't know how to feel about that. Then we have USC, which is at USC, which that's also going to be interesting. That's going to be really interesting.
If USC played like they did against UCLA, then Nebraska could win.
Oh yeah, we never know. Then we play Wisconsin at Lincoln, and then Iowa at Iowa City. Watch us beat Iowa yet again in Iowa. I swear, we can never win at home. We can only beat them at freaking Iowa. Okay, now let's look at Miami football. I cannot spell football schedule. Okay, why did I bring up the Miami Dolphins? University of Miami. There we go. All right. So game 1. Wait. Oh wait, that's this season. Excuse you. Here we go. Game 1 is at Florida. That's gonna be a rivalry matchup right there. Kind of cool. Then they play Florida A&M at Hard Rock. Then they play Ball State at Hard Rock. Then they play USF at Raymond James Stadium, which UCF, you need to get a goddamn stadium sooner or later. Then they play Cal because of the new conference realignment. They play at Cal, which actually that's going to be kind of cool. Then they play at Georgia Tech the following week. So they go on a 1, 2, 3, 4 game away streak. Because then the following week after Georgia Tech is at Louisville.
Yeah.
Then they play Duke at home, Florida State at home, which I don't know how to feel about that one either. I feel mixed. I feel like that can go either way. Virginia Tech, they play at home. Then they play Wake Forest at home, and then they play at Syracuse for their final game of the year. So I think Miami has a pretty weak schedule. I'm not even going to lie to you. Their toughest competition is definitely Florida State, Louisville, Florida, and that's it. Duke, maybe.
Yeah.
It depends if Duke has a down year, like they did a couple years ago. This year they did all right, but they struggled. towards the end.
Don't
We
know-
beat them.
Don't
We
know how.
we beat them pretty soundly. Louisville did.
Yeah.
I'm
Didn't
pretty
want Duke thinking they were good.
Yeah. I'm gonna look up the score. Yeah, it was 23-0. Like that's how that we beat them 23-0. Like, so yeah,
Damn.
yeah. We came in that game like, you ready to go? And then Duke's like, no. And then they get just smacked.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Miami, and I'm gonna look up Louisville schedule 2024 while we're here, I guess. Here we are. Game 1 is Austin PA. I did not know they had a football team.
P.
I don't know how do you pronounce that?
I
PA? Pay?
PA. I don't
PA?
remember.
Okay.
PA or something.
So yeah, first game is Austin PA at home. Then they have Jacksonville State at home. Then they play Notre Dame at Notre Dame for their third week, which that's going to be a hell of a game. Which, by the way, their preseason poll is 10. Then the following week they play at Kentucky. Another rough game. Then the next week they play at Boston College. Wow, so they also go on a 4-game away streak. Then they play, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Their week 6 is against Clemson at Clemson, which they didn't play Clemson last year. Then we play home at Georgia Tech. We play against Georgia Tech. Then we get home against Miami, home against Pitt, home against SMU. Then we play at Stanford. And then we play at
Good luck with that
Virginia. We play at Virginia. It's not good luck. It's more of like, what? Like, it's one of those games where you're just like,
Yeah.
excuse me? So yeah, that's their schedule. Yeah, so from looking, we have one more thing on our list, actually. 7th year senior. The reason why I thought of this idea was because I just saw that Casey Thompson signed with Oklahoma
Yep. Yeah.
after leaving Texas, Nebraska, and FAU. He is a 7th year senior, Dominic. A 7th.
Duke. They're like Duke has a corner. He's been there for 7 years. Oklahoma State has like a tight end that's been there for 8 years.
Yeah, so the reason
It's
why
how can you be there for almost a decade?
yeah, like that has to be boring at some point. The reason I'm bringing this up is this a good thing or a bad thing?
Bad. You should not be able to be in college for almost a decade.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. I think this is a really bad thing, so I think this is something that the NCAA needs to work on soon. And I know because of quote-unquote COVID in the transfer portal, but that stuff needs to get thrown out the window, and they need to put a cap. Like, you can't be an 8th year senior. Like,
No.
I feel like
At most, you should have is 6, because you have your redshirt year, all 4 years, and then you have like an injury year.
yeah, so you can have
That's
a
it.
cushion year.
So all
I
these
think
players
7
now,
and
they have
7th and 8th years I feel like
Poison.
are just redundant at that point. So I agree with you. Like at least have
Everyone
one
nowadays just has-
red shirt and whatever for playing years.
Yeah. Everyone has like their 4 years, their redshirt, and then their injury year, and then now they have like their COVID year, and then they have like some other bull crap year.
Yeah, they have to I swear they like did some weird rules with the COVID stuff, so it's like, come on, why are we still doing this? Like that was 4 years ago, right?
Yeah.
She licked the peanut butter off of the mouse trap and it got her face.
Richards, you got the mousetrap?
She's shaking like a leaf.
Oh jeez, my dog Richards just Roxy just got attacked by a mousetrap. I'm nowhere. It's a podcast.
Are these people that are on there?
That's I just wrote that down for notes. You're okay, Richards. You smell like peanut butter now.
Yeah. Maybe they came down too.
I know. Hi, Ellie. yeah, so my dog's not that smart. Ellie is, but not Roxy. She gotta learn the hard way.
Scared of everything.
Well, she licked a mousetrap, dude. What are you expecting? But
Why
yeah,
would you
so
do that, you freaking idiot?
I don't know. I don't think she knows what a mousetrap is, but now she does. So yeah. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be everything on our list. Thank you all so much for listening. I know this was a shorter episode, only about 50 minutes long, but really we did not have that much to go over.
Not
This
much
was
to talk about.
Yeah, this was kind of like a hastily thrown together episode because of the whole Nick Saban and Pete Carroll and Bill Belichick situations going on.
We had to
So-
talk about it.
Yeah, so we had to talk about it. So now we can move on to anything else we wanted to do, like the more tier making probably and other stuff like that. But yeah, so if you did enjoy, please rate this podcast if you're on Spotify. If you're on YouTube, please leave a like and hit the subscribe button so you can get a new get updates on new videos. You can tell I'm too used to making videos on new podcast episodes. And with that, thank you all so much for listening, and we will talk to you guys next time. Bye bye.